Okay, so what we have in front of us here on the demonstration table is a set of main boards for a Blackmagic URSA Viewfinder. Now, these suffer from a common problem where the SDI equalizer IC fails, and when that happens, you will not get an image on your viewfinder. So you'll probably most likely just have the blue no signal screen, but you will not get an SDI signal. So if you do have this issue and you need to get one of these repaired, let me quickly show you the fastest way to get this repaired. And for those of you that's specifically for those of you who don't have the tools and the technical expertise to do the repair yourself. And for those of you who do, I'll come back in about 2 minutes and I'll show you how to diagnose the issue and how to do the repair and what part you need to replace it with. Okay, so let's do that now.
Okay, so the fastest way to get this sorted is if you just open a Google search page and if you type in iRefab, that's I for Indigo, R for Romeo, E for Echo, F for Freddy, A for Apple, and B for Bike, iRefab, then the first listing that will come up is for our website. So if you click on that, iRefab, General Electronics Diagnostic and Repair, and if you go down the page, and if you go to the send us a message button, right, all you have to do is fill in your name, your email, put a subject title in, and let us know the problem that you're having. Once you click submit from here, we will get back to you with a quote. We will assess if we can repair your device and we'll get back to you with a quote. If you agree to the quote and you're happy to move forward, we will send you a link and a password to our online booking form. Put your password in and book your device in for repair. Once you've done that, our system will issue you with a service ticket number and instructions on how to post your device to us. All you have to do is write that service ticket number down on a piece of paper and include it with your device when you send it to us. Once we receive your device, we will proceed to repair your device for you. And once it's repaired, we'll issue you with an online invoice that you can pay. And you can do that online and you can pay by card or PayPal, whichever you prefer. And once the invoice is paid, we will promptly ship your device back to you. Now, normally we can do this within about 3 days, but during busy periods, just bear in mind it can take up to a week or 2 weeks. Now, I'm going to show you how to do the repair yourself.
Right, okay, so we're back now. So for those of you who have the tools and the expertise, I'm going to show you the IC that fails on this board. It's this IC here, just where the SDI signal comes in, okay? And if you have a look here on the screen, the model number or the code for that IC is 22554C-12. It's an SDI equalizer IC, okay? And the way you can the way you can find out that it's faulty is if you have a look here. Let's say that's pin 1 and we're going counterclockwise, okay? So at pin 1 you should have around about 1 volts. When the IC goes faulty, you'll probably have around about 0.24.00 millivolt DC measuring on this pin here. And also if you come down here, pin 15, you should have around about 4 volts. But when it goes faulty, you'll probably have around about 0.5 volts here. Okay, so that's the way that you're going to spot if this particular IC is faulty. And if you have those readings, then you know that you need to change out that chip. So what I've also done to help others in the repair community or anybody doing this repair for the first time is I have produced a PDF document, and you can find the link for this document down in the description of the video. And if you open this document, there is an example here of that 32-pin FPGA, the faulty diode mode readings here, okay, of a faulty IC. and then you've got the good diode mode readings of a working IC. Okay, you also have the voltage readings for a faulty IC, and you also have the voltage readings for a working IC here. So really the only ones that you need to pay attention to is this line here, the good IC voltage readings, and this line here, the good IC diode readings. So the way it works is you start from pin 1, okay, and you're working counterclockwise. So if pin 1 is in the top left corner, you're going down this way, you're going down to the right, up, and then to the left. Okay, so pin 1 there, and then pin 32 will be somewhere here on the top. Okay, and for the diode readings, obviously you're going to put your multimeter into continuity mode or ohms mode, and you'll have the red probe on ground, and you'll be probing the pins with your black probe. Okay, so remember, these are the two lines, this one here and this one here. Compare your diode mode readings, compare your voltage readings. Okay, if they're significantly different from these two lines here, then that will indicate to you or give you some clue that most likely that chip is faulty. Okay, so that the link for that will be in the description, and I hope this helps somebody out. Okay, now I want to give you a few tips when you're doing this, just to help you out. If at any point you connect the board to a computer or a laptop to update the firmware, just to make sure that that's all up to date, then what will happen is sometimes it defaults to a black and white image. Okay, and if that happens, then there are 3 buttons underneath here. The one on the end here, on this side underneath, you need to press it and hold it. If you just press it once, nothing will happen, and you'll be going around in circles. You need to press it and hold it, and the menu will come up, and you'll be able to see that black and white is selected. You need to change the display to a color image, and then you'll get a color image. Okay, now a couple of extra tips I want to share with you. To power this board, if you do not have a 4-pin XLR power connector, then you need to get one of these battery connectors that look like this, and power it from your desktop power supply. Give it 12 volts, nothing more than that. You can set the amps to 0.40, and if you connect that in there, the board will power up. But you got to remember something. When I was connecting into this board here, the original connector, the plus was on that side and the minus was on this side, so be careful of that, because I had to swap these around to get the right orientation for this. So that's one tip I want to share with you. Once you do that, you'll be able to power the board on. Okay, now I'm not going to go into how to change out one of these ICs, because I've done the videos where I show you how to change a nearly exactly similar chip out. But one thing you need to be careful on this particular board, I would consider this an advanced repair, because there are so many screws that you have to undo before you can actually get to this board. And when you're going to change that IC out, you have to isolate it correctly. So you need to use aluminium tape. Okay, got some here, aluminium tape, and you need to isolate the IC properly, because if you don't, if any of that heat escapes through the side or through the bottom, it's going to melt these flex cables here. And these flex cables are sandwiched between the PCB, so they cannot be removed. There's not a connector that you can remove it with. Okay, so remember that key points is be careful of the orientation of your plus and your minus going into the power here, and make sure you isolate that properly. Okay, and when you change out the chip and you connect an SDI source, what you may find sometimes is you've got a black and white image. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the chip. Just go into the settings, okay, and change the menu from black and white to color. Okay, that should be fine. And the other issue that I want to make you aware of, if you try to put an SDI source into here, it needs to be type B. If you try to use a type A signal, okay, it's not going to show up. So you need, if you're using a Blackmagic HDMI to SDI converter, then that will do that automatically. But if you're using any other type of converter to change a HDMI signal to SDI, you need to be able to select that setting and choose type B. Otherwise you will not get an image here and you'll think there's something wrong when there really isn't. So okay, so I just thought I'd share that with you. So as I say, if you can do the repair yourself, that's fine, you know what you're doing. If you can't, contact us through the website and we shall get that sorted for you. So that's it for today. Hope this video helped someone, and as always, bye for now and have a nice day.